What's going on, everyone? So last night after the Lakers game, we got an update from JJ Redick himself in regards to Jarred Vanderbilt, and it's not the update we had hoped for. So, per Dan Wokey, JJ Redick says Jarred Vanderbilt is progressing, but is dealing with some minor discomfort. Team will have another update in a week or so. Not what we wanted, right? Jarred Vanderbilt, the hope was that he would be ready to go sooner rather than later, and he's out at least another week or two. We're not talking about ramping up. We're not talking about starting to work out and getting practices and stuff like that and 5-on-5s and all that stuff. We're talking about just getting evaluated again, dealing with some minor discomfort. He just had surgery in both of his feet, and it's just, what do you do at this point, right? Like, I love Jarred Vanderbilt. Jarred Vanderbilt, his impact to this team, to this roster, is immeasurable at times. His ability to defend essentially every position on the court and at a high level. Talk about one of, if not the best perimeter defenders in all of basketball, right? What he did, and like the Warriors game, for example, put on a masterclass defensively. And we've seen what Anthony Davis plus Jarred Vanderbilt does. Makes you one of the best defenses in the league. And I do believe that at some point you need to inject him into the starting unit. I think at some point he needs to be your starting 3 or 2 or whatever, right? Like bring D'Lo off the bench, slide Reeves to the point, and have Vando at the 2 on defense because he's going to be up there anyway. He's going to be defending most likely the point guard on every night anyway. Look at the Western Conference, or a guard, right? Whether it's Anthony Edwards or SGA or Kyrie or Luka or any of these guys, right? So chances are Jamal Murray, right? Vando's going to be up out on the perimeter playing the point anyway, or defending the point or 2 anyway. So you just slot him defensively at the 2. This isn't the YMCA, this is the NBA, right? You don't have to, we have to have our 2 guard be our 2 guard. It doesn't really matter. It's positionless anyway, right? And then on offense, you could slide LeBron to the point because he's out on the perimeter all game anyway. So you have LeBron at the point, Reeves at the 2, Vando at the 3. Rui can slide over and be at the 4, which could impact him and maybe elevate his game better. And then Anthony Davis, of course, being the 5. Boom, you got some size, you help with the rebounding, you're better defensively. Right now, Reeves doesn't have to be the best defender on your starting unit. Now he gets to be the second. So now he doesn't have the toughest defensive assignment every night. Now he has the second, right? And the pecking order just goes down as far as defensive, accountability. Bolster the bench a little bit offensively. That is something I think at some point is going to have to happen. Something that I at least want to see happen at some point, have some experimentation, at least in that regard. Problem is, we might never see that. We might not see Jarred Vanderbilt on the court, period. I love Jarred Vanderbilt, but the best ability is availability. And if we can't count on the guy, if he's going to play 25 games, he missed all of last season. Dude played, like 20 games? I don't even think it was that many. Right? Like, the guy just, he's had injury issues his entire career, right? But it was like when we got him that season, he played like 70 games or whatever. It was 72 games, something like that, right? So it's like, that's the Vando we need, right? If he's playing 65 to 70 games, sure, right? Especially if he's healthy come playoff time, right? That's when you really need him. But you also need him during the regular season. And you need him to learn the offense. You need him to learn the defense. You need him to get familiar with the players in the new offense. Right? Yes, he's familiar with the players, but you're running an entirely new system on both the offensive and defensive side of things. You need some familiarity with the coach and what the coach is looking for you to do. Right? I do think that JJ Redick will be able to make Jarred Vanderbilt a comparable type of offensive player. Not in the traditional sense, because he's not a great shooter or anything like that, but Darvin Ham was able to figure out how to make him a double-digit scorer. JJ Redick, you put him as the slip guy, put him, in the pick and roll, you have him, crashing off the corners as the slasher, right? His size, his length, his athleticism, his foot speed, you'll be able to work it out to where he can have an impact. You can have him in all those like dribble handoffs, like everything you're doing with like Jackson Hayes, you could do with him. Have him in the dribble handoffs and stuff, right? Have him initiate at times, right? Like you can be creative in finding ways for Jarred Vanderbilt to figure stuff out. It's just, can he be healthy? can you trust him on the basketball court? And even if he does return, how long is it going to be before he's hurt again? Knock on wood, how long is it going to be before you can't count on him, right? Because let's say he comes back at the end of the month, right? Say December 1st, just for argument's sake. December 1st, boom, Vando's back. It's probably going to take him 15, 20 games to kind of get back to being the Jarred Vanderbilt we know and love, right? It took him 10 games last season to just start looking like the Jarred Vanderbilt we know. He still wasn't fully there, but starting to look like it, and he got hurt again, right? So let's say it takes him 20 games. You're in like the middle of January at that point, right? It's like 14 games in December, 15 games in December, whatever, right? So now you're literally in the middle of January. By the time you actually get a full-fledged Jarred Vanderbilt, you missed half the season, right? Like before we get Jarred Vanderbilt there. Now look, okay, Tyler, he's healthy. He's ready to go. The impact he can have. Yes, I agree. But again, are the Lakers in a position where they can take the gamble? That's what you have to ask yourself. Are the Lakers in the position where they can gamble on Jarred Vanderbilt, one, getting back to that point, and two, staying at that point? Because I don't think the Lakers are in the position to gamble on Jarred Vanderbilt. As great as he is defensively, he's not. We've seen him get played off the court in the playoffs, right? His offensive, or his lack of offensive versatility, is going to be an issue at times, particularly come playoff time, right? He's not the perfect player. He's great and a big need that we have, but he's not so good that it's like we can justify him playing 40 games a season. We just can't. And we're not so good as a team where we can justify him playing 40 games a season. Now, obviously, that could change, right? If you end up, pulling off the right trade or something, then maybe, it's like, okay, well, we can kind of rest Jarred Vanderbilt, or just kind of make him be a spot guy to where he's only playing 3 minutes a quarter or something like that. Sure, maybe you could do something like that, but at what point do you start looking to trade him? He's $10.7 million in a tradable salary. At what point do you go do you swap him for like a Valanciunas or something? Right? At least that's a need. Right? At least you solve your center position, and you still have D'Lo and Rui and Gabe Vincent and Max. You basically have all your other guys to still go pull off moves. You can go get a Cam Johnson or get a Bruce Brown, and you can get a Bruce Brown and a Cam Johnson if you want to. Right? Like now you could solve all your other needs. And I could see a team like Washington, because the problem is that Jarred Vanderbilt's just getting into his new contract. Right? He has 4 years, counting this year, on his deal. Right? So you have to find a team that's willing to either take on his salary or likes him enough to take the gamble on him. Team like Washington, they might. Right? Ideally, you package him and go get a Jeremy Grant or something like that. Because they originally wanted Rui and Jarred Vanderbilt for Jeremy Grant, right? Jarred Vanderbilt's not going to be healthy. You're really only trading Rui at that point for Jeremy Grant, right? So if a team but I could see a team like Portland, a team like Washington, one of the bad teams taking a chance on Vando, because it's okay, we're not planning on winning a championship this year. We're not in a position to even necessarily make the play-in, right? We can take our time with Vando. We can let him take the year off if we need to, right? Hey, take the year off. You're good. No biggie. If you have to, right? You can take your time winning them back in. Where, a team like the Lakers or a playoff team, they probably want him to be the best version of himself possible. I think regardless, you're probably going to have to get him back on the basketball court. I don't think you'd be able to trade him today, right? But December 15th, right, by that point, hopefully, fingers crossed, he's played, 15 games, 10 games at that point, right? Once you get to December 15th, when Valanciunas and guys like that can be available, to where you can maybe go hey, look, he's been great the last 15 games, right? Let's just do a clean swap. You get a young wing that you can add. You know, you're looking to trade Kyle Kuzma, right? Jarred Vanderbilt, obviously not offensively, but gives you a wing to kind of offset some of that. Or you can look to trade him at some point, right? Like, get some other assets. You know, like maybe you throw in a second or something like that, right? Because they are taking a risk, they are taking a gamble. So maybe you throw in a second, like Vando in a second, right? Because it is longer term salary, so it's like you know, you get an extra year of Vando, so we'll give you a second for doing us the favor, type thing. And then now you get something like a Valanciunas. I really like Vando, and I really do think he solves like 50% of our issues right now. He'd make us better rebounding, which we've been a very good rebounding team, but he'd make us even better. Right? The offense he creates and generates, not in the traditional sense, but in just like keeping balls alive, offensive rebounds, turnovers, live ball turnovers, like all these things, he helps, he benefits on, right? And then, you know, it's just, it's disappointing. Right? I'm disappointed. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Are you disappointed as well? You kind of like, man, yeah, time to trade Vando. Got to look to move the guy. Do you think like, no, you got to keep him around? Still too valuable. Are you disappointed as well? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you like this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos. And I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.